Hello, good evening, and welcome to this edition of News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo. We are coming to you live from the Platinum Place at Region Accra, streaming across the world via the power of technology on Facebook and YouTube. Let's take a look at our headlines tonight. Tension heightens in Bawku after 4 people were killed in the Binduri district despite increased security operations in the area.
8 ne sorry 6 ne koda ya sorry ya hu se assembly etoye na ni bo afie bia minito ni sikan.
Also, parents of students caught up in ongoing school placement challenges accuse resolution centers of giving preferential treatment to security officers.
We are citizens, so I think things like that is worrying the government and other officials. So I need the government to do something about it for.
And in business, PURC justifies 1.14% increase in electricity tariffs from October 1 after last quarterly review. And on the international front, new HIV prevention drug to be made available at low cost in over 100 low-income countries within 2 years. I'll be sharing details of these stories plus some others here on News Tonight. Please stay with me. I'm grateful for your company. We start off on a rather disturbing note as 4 people have been killed in separate attacks in the Binduri district of the Upper East region in violence linked to the protracted Bawku conflict. The incidents have heightened tension and raised fresh concerns about the effectiveness of ongoing security reinforcements in the area. A relative of 2 of the deceased, Enoch Kuntima, described the situation as unfortunate and urged security agencies to swiftly arrest perpetrators.
Government and security phone. Now the eto and say, you say, your papa no makum. Almost young codas 8, na sorry 6, na kodaya. Na ya sorry and the young say, Omaku papa. Na ya higher and I said, the hammer. Na person who say, almost yanda 8, na sorry 6, na kodaya. Ya sorry and who say, a some way etoye. Na ni boafia minito ni sikan. Ya I bet you a government no and security phone woman a so na sama to ye nim baby a o ma free buy be ma assembly see so na ye nim security phone baby a o mo na assembly be to so and me pay hu se me government so on hwehwe na security phone wo mo hwehwe mbo aye na ye hu wo mo kum wo baby a wo mo kosa bia wo mo man ye hu.
So that was Enoch Kuntima. He is a relative of 2 of the deceased persons. Remember, I told you that 4 people have been killed in separate attacks in the Binduri district of the Upper East region. And this latest incident is linked to the protracted Bawku conflict. What Enoch Kuntima was basically saying was that they are respecting the curfew hours. They slept only to wake up and find their relatives killed. He says that they are relying on security agencies and the government to bring the perpetrators to book because he does not have any arms to retaliate. Kasim Kadiru is our correspondent on the ground and he joins us with some more on this. Kasim, so just help us understand really, why is this incident being linked to the Bawku conflict?
All right, so let me say a very good evening to viewers. This incident we can say it has to do with the Bawku conflict. Why? Because looking at the areas where this incident happened, it clearly tells you that it has to do with the Bawku conflict. And the people that they killed, these people died in a different location. We had two who were shot yesterday in the evening around 3 to 4 in the different location, and they are being reported to be coming from the Mapuche's enclaves. So today, this moment, we also had an incident whereby 2 people were also shot dead in a different location. And those people too are also coming in from the Kusasi territory. So it tells you that the story is clear that it has to do with the Bawku conflict.
Right. Kasim, what has the police been saying about how these 4 persons were killed?
In this case, Bawku station running its duties here. The Biduri police station has been closed down for about 3 months now. There's no personnel in the area that we can talk to, or there's no CID that can investigate into this case to talk to us. So this morning I tried my possible best to talk to the police and find out from them. But according to them, unless they send the report to a region, for the region to assign a CID to come down to investigate the matter. So this is a challenge that made us not able to talk to the police.
Right.
Clarification from them.
Right, Kasim. And I remember much earlier we engaged, not over this incident, but when the Bawku conflict picked up again, we engaged the PRO of the police in the region, and he dispelled the rumors that officers were being evacuated from the area. If you remember clearly that story. So now you say that the Binduri police station is deserted. Is it the case at the time that what the PRO told us was not true? That they were officers on operation and others were going to replace them? Since that evacuation, has there been any police deployment to the area?
My investigation as a reporter on grounds, we have only one police commander operating Binduri, Pusiga, and then Bawku, one police commander. And then we have only one operations commander. The rest are not stationed at the police station. They came for peacekeeping. So sometimes you only see few of them within they don't even patrol. I hardly see a police officer patrolling within the area. So I would say what the PRO told viewers and told us, I can say it is not reflecting on the grounds as I am reporting to you now.
Right, Kasim. So basically, how is security being kept in the area since there are no patrols at all?
Yes, so I can say Ghana Armed Forces are here in their numbers. They are patrolling day in, day out.
Right.
But the issue here has to do with how long has they been here? The people, those causing this crime are people who are born and raised here. They know the areas. They know where they can go and cause this crime and go back freely without any interception from any security personnel. So the soldiers within the town, they only came for peacekeeping. So we have been seeing them, but they are not used to the area. Sometimes they'll be asking you, where is this area? What's the name of this area? And we understand a place like Biduri like this, the commander in charge for Bawku is not the commander in charge for Biduri. The commander in charge for Biduri has to take direction from the regional military command before any operation or any test can be done. So it's highly difficult for security personnel on grounds.
Kasim Kadiri, thank you. That's Kasim. He's a man on the ground giving us an update on the Bawku situation. This is news tonight, and the story is that 4 more people have died in an incident related or perceived to be related to the Bawku conflict. We stay a while on issues regarding the police. The IGP, Christian Tete Yohuno, has announced the successful dismantling of a notorious robbery gang that terrorized financial institutions across several regions of Ghana. Peter Kwawa Dato sat through that press briefing in Accra, where the IGP detailed how the carefully planned operation led to arrests, recoveries, and retrieval of dangerous weapons. And here's his report.
After months of painstaking investigations, surveillance, and collaboration with credible informants, the Ghana Police Service has broken the backbone of a criminal network behind violent robberies in rural banks and financial institutions. The operation, which stretched across the Ahafo, Western, Central, Eastern, and Ashanti regions, resulted in the arrest of 10 suspects. 3 others lost their lives in a shootout with police, while a manhunt has been launched for those still on the run. Recovered items include 14 weapons. Among them are AK-47 rifles, pump-action guns, pistols, ammunition, vehicles, and mobile phones.
We have launched a manhunt for the remaining suspects who are on the run. We will not stop until we get them arrested. We were also able to recover 14 weapons, including AK-47 rifles, pump-action guns, a single-barrel gun, pistols, ammunition, vehicles, mobile phones, among others.
The Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, commended the Ashanti Regional Commander, the intelligence team, and officers who played critical roles in the success of the operation.
I would like to acknowledge and commend Ashanti Regional Police Commander and his intelligence team for the role they played to ensure the success of the operation. I would also like to commend all other officers who played critical roles towards this successful operation.
He also praised the public for volunteering credible information that aided the crackdown.
I would like to assure you that the police will continue to make life uncomfortable for criminal elements in our society. We will continue to pursue you till you are brought to justice.
The IGP assured that the police will continue to make life uncomfortable for criminals, urging citizens to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities to support ongoing investigations.
Well, still on this, 12 police officers who played critical roles in dismantling that notorious robbery syndicate have been promoted. At a press briefing, the IGP said that action reflects the service's commitment to rewarding dedication and professionalism. Peter Kwadato's report again.
The recent breakthrough in busting armed robberies across rural banks has not only rid communities of fear, but also brought recognition to officers who went beyond the call of duty. At a media briefing in Accra, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, announced the promotion of 12 officers for their exceptional contributions. 3 chief inspectors have been elevated to the police academy to join the next officer cadet corps, while another 3 move up from the ranks of inspector to chief inspectors. 2 sergeants were also promoted to inspectors, while a corporal rose to sergeant. In a rare recognition of youthful dedication, 3 constables with less than a year in the service were promoted to lance corporals for their diligence and sacrifice during the multi-regional operation that spanned several months.
To the senior officers, the police council will take a decision on them. I want to take this opportunity to call all members of the public to support the police with information for successful investigation. The service is committed to rewarding credible information shared to support our investigation.
The IGP emphasized that rewarding excellence remains key to strengthening morale and deepening public confidence in the police service.
The news tonight, we stay a while on security. Police operations between September 5 and 19 have led to the rescue of 60 victims in a breakthrough fight against human trafficking. The victims comprise 41 foreign nationals residing in Ghana and 19 Ghanaians abroad. This exposes the growing sophistication of traffickers who now transit victims through multiple countries to evade detection. The police administration says the battle against human trafficking remains relentless. Criminals continue to exploit desperate job seekers, luring them with promises of high-paying jobs abroad, only to subject them to abuse and exploitation. Recent investigations reveal traffickers are adopting new methods, moving victims through several countries before reaching their final destinations in a bid to outwit security agencies. Between 5th and 19th September 2025, 60 victims were rescued. 41 foreign nationals were freed in Ghana, while 19 Ghanaians trafficked abroad were brought home safely.
All rescued persons have since been handed over to the appropriate authorities for reintegration with their families. Investigations have shown that traffickers now adopt new methods, transiting victims through multiple countries before reaching their final destinations to evade detection.
The police are cautioning the public that no legitimate recruitment agency will ever require applicants to embark on risky journeys by road through multiple countries.
Individuals are encouraged to verify the authenticity of offers abroad before committing themselves. Members of the public are also reminded that it is a criminal offense to lure or recruit others under false pretenses. Those found culpable will face the full rigors of the law. Victims of trafficking are hereby encouraged to promptly report to the nearest police station for assistance.
Authorities are also urging survivors and communities to speak out and share their experiences to prevent others from falling victim. The fight against trafficking, the police insist, is a collective responsibility, one that demands vigilance, truth, and solidarity. You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo. So when we come back on Insight, we'll be focusing on school placement woes. Please stay. Thank you for staying here on News Tonight. Time now to focus on challenges in the school placement system on Insight. On Insight tonight, parents of some students caught up in the ongoing school placement challenges have accused resolution centers of giving preferential treatment to security officers. This has heightened tensions at the Nat Hall, one of the resolution centers. Long queues and mounting frustration continue to plague efforts to correct self-placement errors there. Officials from the Education Ministry and computerized school selection and placement system are urging parents to remain calm as they work to resolve the outstanding issues.
Computerized school selection and placement system, designed to streamline the process, has been under fire for a while, with some students reportedly placed in schools they never selected, and others receiving no placement at all. Frustration, anxiety, and unanswered questions. That is the reality for many parents as the school placement challenges continues to escalate.
When you get 14, I'm first and you be a crank and the first, second choice there, but when your first choice, second choice no, third choice no, fourth choice day. May consider baby amity, new botiano. So, Messinko Holy Trinity, many family member be our how cotanity. Now, say, make us Messiah call rented dying or Amana day school. I never saw Ben was.
Her daughter, Judith Asari, who is obviously frustrated, says she's disappointed in the system.
Disappointed and I feel cheated because colleagues of mine had 23 but had good schools, B school, second choice. A colleague of mine had 20, she's going to Adontin. But me having 14 and being placed at a C school as a day student, it makes me feel like the computerized placement system is not a trusted one.
That anxiety and frustration is just the tip of the iceberg. Some parents are also raising concerns over alleged preferential treatment given to officials of security agencies.
They gather the security service to come and join the queue so that they can choose a better school for their children, and it's not fair. So we are citizens. So I think things like that is worrying the government and other officials. So I need the government to do something about it for us.
However, officials from the Education Ministry and the computerized school selection and placement system are urging parents to remain calm as the self-placement system works to resolve the anomalies.
People who are working around the clock to make sure they resolve their issues for them. So yesterday, if you were here, you realized that the numbers were quite huge. And today, you can see that the numbers had gone down. And when you go inside, as and when they come out, it means that they've submitted their complaints. And there are officers who are assistants now working on them.
Although officials have assured a resolution of these anomalies, the long queues and rising tension suggest a different narrative, a broken system that has failed to deliver on its promise. Reporting for GHOne News, Obed Kingaglo, Nat Hall, Accra.
Well, the Vice President has been speaking about the situation, and she's urged the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service to explain the ongoing senior high school placement challenges with clarity and courtesy. Speaking during an engagement with the Minister for Education and agencies under his ministry, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman stressed that open communication will ease tension for parents and students. Her remark comes on the back of rising tension as parents and guardians besiege various resolution centers to address their challenges.
Let us learn to work together. There's so much talent in every agency that we can learn from, we can share. And I
why is our microphone?
Urge all of us that we learn from each other, we share our expertise, and that the results are positive for all of us, and that's what matters most. I know you are doing school placement and you have all kinds of people besieging, if not your offices, your homes, your phones, and all of them. What can we do? Let's just try very politely to explain the situation. What we try to do is to create more A schools with the E-blocks. And that's one of my to implement all of it, to run the whole system, to demonstrate that yes, for A schools. And it doesn't matter whether they are boarding or D, but the rest they say is history. From who we are, and with everybody's support, we'll do the best we can. Thank you all very much.
Thankfully, we've been joined by former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Charles Aheto Chega. We need to have a serious conversation about this unfortunate situation because it is one that happens every year. I'm grateful for your time here this evening. So, there are some who say that, look, we don't spend a lot of time educating BC candidates on how to go about the school selection system. There are those who also say the consistent upgrade or update to the system creates a lot of confusion, even for teachers and parents alike who may have had a ward who wrote the exam last year and they have another writing this year. It's just almost as if every time you have to do something new or there's some change to the system, and it allows these challenges to persist. What is your reaction to these concerns?
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy that I've been invited to contribute to this discussion. I think that it is important to have a certain dynamism in terms of how the school selection processes happen. So one might say that this whole process of annual changes is quite part of the dynamism that we expect to happen within the system. But yes, you are right that it must come with a certain level of education that would ensure that students are properly oriented to know what is happening. As much as possible, it would be necessary to begin to really reshape the kind of criteria and to let people appreciate the criteria for which certain schools are in certain locations. So as much as possible, there's the need for maybe constant education of the students to enable them understand the schools that they want to attend. And that is what is actually not happening in terms of how the students would need to know the schools. Because a lot of them don't even know the schools. Somebody's school chose Diapso for the student. The student lives in Accra. And then he has no idea where Diapso is. But the school had chosen Diapso for the person. And then here is the boy, he comes and he discovers that it is in Upper Dentra. And he says, no, I can't go. So those are the kinds of things. If some of these understandings were there, people would appreciate and people would school to choose for people, especially in these times where a lot of considerations are given for schools are chosen by parents.
What are some of those considerations, if you don't mind sharing them?
Oh, one consideration is the economy. The second one is the amount of time that parents will have to visit the children. For most parents today, visiting is a very important thing, and they want to do it. So it is a serious consideration in determining where my child will go to school.
All right, Mr. Chega, I get that. I thought you meant consideration in terms of whether you get the school or not, and that's what I was asking, if you could share those considerations with us.
Well, let me come on to that. You said, as for whether you get the school or not, that is part of the criteria which rests with those who do the placements. So a number of things are factored into those considerations. And those are things that are not in the remit of the students. But in terms of choices, the considerations that they do, and that's why I mentioned that one. But for the examination, a lot of considerations are given, and it has at least to do with your performance. That's the basic thing.
For the avoidance of doubt, when you say that those considerations are left to those who should do the placement, since we are talking about a computerized school placement system, just for the avoidance of doubt, is it a case that in every BEC cycle, a certain criteria is created, fed into the system, and the system that's its own selection and bias or discrimination? Or there are people who are actually seated behind these machines and are placing students at a certain school, just for the avoidance of doubt?
Well, I have never seen that process happen physically, but I believe that when you are working the computer, there is a certain input that you make to be able to determine how the different variables will apply. Right. So as much as possible, that should happen. And those variables are those inputs are put in order to ensure that the students who fit the different criteria are, placed and fall in to enable them to be put into the schools. So that for me is what I see that to be. Of course, we can ask them to do other considerations in terms of looking for. You don't take a student who is in a place like Bolgatanga and put the student in Diasto secondary school and tell him that he's a day student.
Well, it appears that's the story of many people. I have seen people complain about that, about the fact that their awards are being sent to very distant places and are being given the option as day students. Could that be an error on the part of the computerized system, or do you find mostly that it is an error in terms of the application and coding that these students attach to sometimes the schools they think they may have chosen?
Yeah, but there are two sides. There are two sides to this. Part of it is from the student side, and part of it is the whole ethos of the posting. Because I think that ethically, it should be only proper for you to post a child to a school near where he or she lives. So at least that ethos alone should drive the whole process. So you don't take a boy from Polga and put the child in Diaso, for example, or take a boy from Kumasi and bring him to Ada area and say you should attend Ada secondary school. I mean, those considerations are not part of what parents really want. The parents want the children by themselves. So it is important for the education of the child and the basis for putting in all of those placement issues to consider those things. Other than that, then it is a nuisance to the parents. And that's why you see a lot of people now at the center, changing the locations of the places where the students have been put.
Mr. Chaga, finally, there are those who say that equipping schools, upgrading schools, and making sure that you have schools that are also top-notch within every region can help solve the problem of young people wanting certain schools and everybody cramming for them instead of the other institutions that are available. Your quick reaction to that as we wrap up Insight.
Oh, I think I want to agree with all of those people who say that. I think our system has not done very well in ensuring a certain level of equity in terms of the schools. And we ourselves are so fixated with categorization that everybody wants it. I don't blame us for wanting to go to a category A school, because I always say that if you set up a model school in a place where there are schools, then you must be sure that everybody will go to the model school, because in that model school are all the things that we need to learn. So again, we need to really get back to the drawing table and look at how we do our upgrading and support to the schools, and inject a certain level of equity to ensure that there is a balance in terms of the quality of schools around the country, so that people would want to go there. So I think I agree with them.
I'm grateful for your time this evening. Charles Aheto Chega is a former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, and we've been talking about challenges that students are facing, hoping to enter senior secondary school. That'll be all for Insights tonight. Now, the minority in Parliament is calling for the suspension of an agreement between Ghana and the United States to receive deportees of West African origin. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa explained that the arrangement is governed by a memorandum of understanding with Washington that does not require parliamentary approval. However, ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, told the media that implementing such an arrangement without Parliament's consent undermines Ghana's legal framework and long-standing foreign policy principles.
75 of our national constitution is unequivocal on these matters. It provides that every treaty, agreement, or convention executed by or under the authority of the President must be laid before Parliament for ratification. We have taken note of the comments by the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs to the effect that the agreement with the United States is a memorandum of understanding and will require parliamentary approval only when it is, in his words, elevated to the status of an agreement. We wish to remind the Honorable Minister that the Constitution makes no such distinction between formal agreements and memorandum of understanding. It is therefore deeply concerning that the government continues to operationalize the agreement with the United States despite these flagrant constitutional breaches. The decision to serve as a receiving point for West African deportees against their wishes with emphasis from the United States risks our country being perceived as aligning itself with the United States government's current immigration enforcement regime, one which has been criticized as harsh and discriminatory. To associate Ghana with such policies could have several negative implications for our country, particularly within the African continent. We therefore reiterate our call on the government to suspend with immediate effect the unconstitutional implementation of this agreement until Parliament has duly exercised its constitutional mandate to scrutinize same and ratify it or otherwise. We further urge government to provide full clarity on the processes, safeguards, and other broader implications associated with receiving these deportees, including the measures, if any, that have been taken to protect Ghana's security interests.
Get more on this, we've been joined by Dr. Ishmael Hlovo. He's an international relations analyst. Grateful for your time, Doc. Whose interpretation of the law do you think best fits our situation? The minority or the Foreign Affairs Minister?
Good evening and good evening to your listeners and viewers. In this issue, I think that minority has a case, given that the agreement or the memorandum of understanding is not a one-off issue. What we are seeing is that Ghana has consistently been used as a receiving point for the deportees from the U.S. So, given that the practice as it is now also impose costs on Ghana, in the sense that if it is even a basket that they are going to buy for those deportees to go to their country, involve costs. Equally, since it's also binding on Ghana to receive the migrants, then we have to say that it's beyond a memorandum of understanding, and in the interest of a country practicing a participatory democracy, it is just right that it's presented before Parliament so that the representatives of the Ghanaian population have a clear view of what Ghana is currently doing.
Well, we've been told by the ministry that Ghana is not gaining anything monetary-wise in this particular MOU, which allows for the U.S. to bring deportees who are of other African origin into Ghana. But there are those who say that if that's the case, then what at all isn't it for us, and why should we agree to accept these deportees? Your quick thoughts.
Yeah, so I think that it's strange that countries like Ghana will agree to take in these deportees, given the sensitive nature of this issue without anything. Maybe it's not a monetary reward or a monetary estimate, not a transaction, but equally maybe the government.
Hello, Doc. Oh, sincere apologies. We've lost Doc on the line there. Dr. Ishmael Hlovo is an international relations analyst, and he was just sharing his thoughts on the decision by our Foreign Affairs Minister to enter into an MOU with the United States government, which allows for Ghana to either be used as a transit point or as a destination for deportees of other African origin. Now, away from that, a World Health Organization 2023 report indicates that amblyopia, also known as lazy eye, remains one of the leading causes of preventable childhood blindness. It affects about 2 in every 100 children globally. In Ghana, school-based studies estimate visual impairment among pupils ranges between 0.9 and 4.6%, with many cases going undetected until it's too late. While poor oral hygiene remains the most widespread chronic disease among children worldwide. To address these challenges, Access Bank Ghana has launched the See and Smile project under its employee volunteer program. It aims to provide free screening and treatment for children in underserved communities. See and Smile initiative is designed to promote clear vision and healthy smiles in children by providing free eye and dental screenings, treatment, and educational resources for pupils up to the age of 10. The project is expected to screen at least 800 children across 2 schools in the Lojokuku municipality. Beyond free screenings, Access Bank and its partners will provide oral health kits and sponsor eyeglasses for children in need. Speaking at the launch, Head of Digital Payment Channels at Access Bank Ghana, Ujunwa Roslyn, explained that the initiative forms part of the bank's employee volunteer program, designed to touch lives beyond financial services.
At Access Bank, we believe banking is not only about financial services, but also touching lives and sustainable community. This year, the digital banking team is proud to introduce See and Smile, an initiative dedicated to promote early vision and oral health among children. We choose this project because we recognize that poor eyesight and the poor oral hygiene, though often overlooked, can affect how children learn.
A representative from the Ghana Education Service, Elizabeth A.S. Akrong, also emphasized the need for interventions like this, highlighting the effect of impaired vision and oral health challenges on academic performance.
How would you feel if you find yourself in the classroom with impaired vision, which limits your confidence and then lowers your self-esteem as a learner? Our directorate is extremely happy to collaborate with you to change the lives of learners who might have been facing these challenges. This helps to eliminate barriers and improve learning outcomes in our schools.
While the launch served to raise awareness and mobilize community support, the greater work is set to begin in October. With childhood blindness and oral diseases threatening the future of many children, initiatives like See and Smile brings hope, ensuring pupils can see clearly, smile confidently, and learn without limitations.
3, 2, and 1!
You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo. Our business news comes up shortly.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Now, from October 1, electricity tariffs will rise by 1.14% after the latest quarterly review by the PURC. Speaking in an interview, Director of Research and Corporate Affairs, Eric Obute, linked the increment to the country's prevailing economic conditions. He cited the average cost of gas, generation mix between thermal and hydro inflation, exchange rate volatility, and the marginal depreciation of the cedi as the main factors driving this decision. According to the PURC, the review is necessary to maintain the real value of tariffs, keep service providers financially viable, and ensure a stable power supply for consumers.
As I keep saying every time, we do have two tariff windows, a minor tariff window and a major tariff window.
Right.
The 1.14% has to do with the minor tariff regime, which is on a quarterly basis. So every quarter of the year, every 3 months, we do review the tariff. So it could go down, it could go up, or remain the same. So this 1.14 is a quarterly review of the tariff.
Okay.
And in the quarterly review of the tariff, we consider 4 parameters. The weighted average cost of gas, we consider the generation mix between thermal and hydro, we consider inflation, and we consider the exchange rate. In this fourth quarter, both the weighted average cost of gas and the cost of fuel and that of the generation mix between thermal and hydro did not change. However, the depreciation of the cedi, marginal depreciation of the cedi, led to a slight increment in the electricity tariff by 1.14%. The last exchange rate that we used was 10 cedi 70 pesos to the dollar. However, in this tariff window, we are using 12 cedis 37 pesos to the dollar. The major tariff itself is what we are going around the country now, trying to pick information from all consumers. We have engaged stakeholders, the media, CSOs, and all other stakeholders. So it is after everything that we've done that the major tariff will be announced, which will take effect in 2026. Right. But what we have now is a minor tariff review.
Now, the Ghana Statistical Service is calling for stronger collaboration and improved infrastructure to maximize economic potential of inbound overnight tourism. Its latest inbound overnight visitors report shows that between October 2022 and September 2023, Ghana received 888,584 overnight visitors, representing 98.6% of all international arrivals, who collectively spent 15.2 billion cedis. Announcing the findings, government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu said Ghana could earn even more if visitors were encouraged to explore attractions in more regions, made possible through increased investment in tourism infrastructure.
Ghana received more than 901,000 international visitors, who spent a total of 15.42 billion Ghana cedis. These numbers matter. Same-day visitors show potential for short-stay packages, while overnight visitors remind us of the power of family, businesses, and cultural ties. Both groups underline the need to improve facilities, diversify tourism products, and market Ghana more effectively. Government could launch a Visit Ghana in a Day campaign to attract regional travelers. For overnight visitors, targeted campaigns aimed at the diaspora, business travelers, and our West African neighbors can bring in higher spending. The private sector has opportunities to expand shopping, dining, and accommodation, while civil society and development partners can support innovations such as National Tourism App and multilingual help desks at major entry points.
That'll be all for business news. Monica Bukri is standing by with the latest from the world of sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Good business means
Thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. I am Monica Bukari. Now, two-time African and Ghanaian Afrobreak champion B-Girl Trez has shared her joy after winning an award in the girls category at the Ivory Breaking competition in Ivory Coast. Speaking on the game, the breakdancer revealed that although she once dropped out of school, the support of the Africa Break Academy helped her return back to school and had a successful completion.
Good. It's such a pleasure. This glory back to Ghana, so I feel very great and wonderful. I dropped out from school 3 years ago. I was in my final year at Akuse, and I dropped out from school. And with the help of African Breaking Academy, I was able to go to school again just last year and completed with Ideal College. Actually, I'd always wanted to complete school, so even when I was in the house, I sometimes read my chemistry book, physics book. So it's like when I went back to school, I just feel like, okay, I have 6 months to complete school, so now let me focus on the education. So within those periods, I was not really breaking. I was just learning and preparing myself for the final education because it meant a lot to me.
Now, President of the Africa Breaking Academy, B-Boy Nana Tufo-Okai, has revealed that his ultimate goal is to uplift individuals and his community to proudly represent Ghana and Africa in breakdancing. Speaking on the game, he emphasized his commitment, stressing that he is ready to do whatever it takes to support the initiative.
It's my journey. It's just like a reflection of my journey. When growing up, we saw that we could do a lot of stuff in Ghana and also represent Ghana and represent our communities and our families as well. But we never got the opportunity and the support. So getting to a certain stage in life, I decided to really embark on that. So my goal is just to make sure that I uplift people, also uplift the community, and also represent Ghana everywhere, represent Africa. So for me, this is basically my goal. So anything that I can do to support and also uplift, anything that I can do to also represent my community, where I come from, I'm just all in. So now I think breakdance, Afrobreak is now, I could say, is the hub. Like everybody's looking to come to Ghana just for Afrobreak.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is my mission and I'm still on it. And I'm trying to make sure that in terms of me pushing, the rest also need to be able to understand the vision.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for me, this is what I'm pushing, and I'm putting a lot of effort, working every day, every night, not sleeping. I was in Mauritius just last weekend, and just to sell Ghana there, make sure that people get to know Ghana, people get to know Afrobreak, what we are doing. So basically, this is my goal, this is my vision, this is what I feel like this is the energy that I have, and I can do it now. If I don't do it now, I don't know when. So.
Away from that, Ghana defender Tariq Lamptey has been dealt with another major setback after sustaining an ACL injury in Fiorentina's Serie A clash against Como on Sunday. The 24-year-old pulled up in the 20th minute after attempting to control a ball. He landed awkwardly and immediately signaled discomfort, forcing his substitution. The injury is a huge blow for Lamptey, who was making his first Serie A start for Fiorentina. Lamptey is expected to be sidelined for at least 6 months, effectively ruling him out of the majority of the 2025-26 campaign. His absence also dents Ghana's prospects ahead of crucial international fixtures, with the Black Stars losing one of their most versatile defensive options. And that's all for sports. My name is Monica Bukari. Do stay. We have international news up next.
New HIV prevention drug will be made available at a lower cost in over 100 low-income countries within 2 years. This move is expected to give millions access to the breakthrough treatment and potentially bring the world closer to ending the HIV/AIDS epidemic. The agreement was reached between the Clinton Health Access Initiative in partnership with the Gates Foundation and other groups, including South African Research Institute, WITS, RHI. The drug, called lenacapavir and administered by injection, is due to be rolled out as early as the end of this year at a cost of $28,000 per person annually. The lower cost version will be rolled out in 2027. And that's how we end this edition of News Tonight. I am Bernice Abu-Baidoo. I'm grateful for your time. There's more news when you log on to starfm.com.gh. You can also follow us on social media via GHOne TV for the latest news updates. I've been produced by Ijabing and Awusi Didi Jange. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.